On the weekend of June 10th and 11th, we will see a NASCAR on the grid at Le Mans. The Garage 56 NASCAR entry will compete in this year's edition of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and when the entry takes to the track, it will for sure be a historic moment for the motorsport community. So this is my video on the details regarding the NASCAR entry for Le Mans in 2023. NASCAR is set to make its return to Le Mans, with an entry competing in the full race distance of the famous 24-hour French Classic. The car itself is a next-generation blue and gold Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. In March of 2022, NASCAR announced that they would team up with Hendrick Motorsports, Chevy, and Goodyear, with Garage 56 and Hendrick Motorsports running the number 24 NASCAR Le Mans entry. And speaking of Team Hendrick, they are no small team when it comes to NASCAR. Hendrick Motorsports first made its debut in the Cup Series at the Daytona 500 in 1984 and has won a total of 294 wins and 14 drivers' championships in the NASCAR Cup Series. So the organizers of this entry definitely picked the right team to help bring NASCAR back to the 24-hour endurance race. The Le Mans entered ZL1 NASCAR is a modified Chevy Camaro ZL1 from the Cup Series. The entry is based from it, but it is definitely a different car. The car still uses the same Chevy R07 engine as the Cup Series variant, but it has more advanced brakes, updated aerodynamics, paddle shifters. The weight has also been decreased, and instead of an ICE, it's scheduled to use a more hydronized system. Those are just some of the differences, and while the Le Mans entry is derived from the Cup Series NASCAR, as you can tell, it is not the same car. A question that's on the minds of many is how will this NASCAR compare to the other entries from the World Endurance Championship? Well, the NASCAR has a very strong engine in the form of a 5.8-liter Chevy R07 V8, which has potential to make around 750 horsepower. This historic entry is targeted to be around the same pace as a GTE AM entry, but will likely go faster, especially down the Mulsanne Straight. While this car is expected to be on similar pace to a GTE car, the fact of the matter is it's not a GTE car. So the NASCAR falls into its own category, competing in the experimental class against themselves, since they are the only experimental entry for this year. And another factor to consider is that the rules state that the ZL1 and any experimental entry will not be able to win overall if in a position to do so. But then again, I don't think winning ahead of others or whichever is the point. This is more about having a NASCAR compete in this incredibly special race, which celebrates 100 years of its existence as a 24-hour endurance event, while also celebrating something in the NASCAR world, as this year marks the 75th anniversary of the later renamed NASCAR Cup Series. And just to see a NASCAR on track in this event will be pretty special, not just for a NASCAR enthusiast, but Le Mans and endurance racing fans too. The NASCAR will race from Garage 56, which is the experimental garage at Le Mans. And just to let you know, the NASCAR is definitely not the first entry from Garage 56. Going back to 2012 and 2014, and we saw a very interesting concept from Nissan called the Delta Wing, which has an incredibly fascinating design. The Delta Wing was unlike any other car that raced at Le Mans, as it had a very unique design in which it almost looked like an airplane on track. The story of the Nissan Delta Wing is pretty cool, and will definitely need to be saved for a future video. Okay, so a NASCAR participating at Le Mans is actually not a new thing. This has happened before. In 1976, two NASCAR entries entered into the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the number 4 Dodge Charger and the number 90 Ford Torino. Both cars unfortunately did not make the end of the event. The Dodge had an oil leak within the first 2 hours and had to retire very early on because of it, where the Ford actually ran for 11 hours, but eventually had to retire because of a transmission issue. Though the Ford did complete 104 laps of this long circuit, making it almost to the halfway mark of the 24-hour race. So just to reiterate my claim, this has happened before, and now 46 years later in 2023, a NASCAR will return to the classic Le Mans circuit. So what about the drivers? Who is piloting this NASCAR entry for 2023? Well, the driver lineup is another reason why this entry is so special. The lineup consists of 3 drivers who have won prestigious events over their racing careers. One of the drivers is a multiple champion in the NASCAR Cup Series, and that's Jimmie Johnson. Another driver is 2009 Formula One World Champion Jenson Button, and 2010 24 Hours of Le Mans winner Mike Rockenfeller. Jimmie has never raced at Le Mans, so this will be his first time, but he's eager to give it a try. Jenson has raced at Le Mans, making his debut with SMP Racing back in 2018, where Rocky has the most experience at Le Mans, having actually won it overall, and driven with the dominant Audi Sport team for many years. All 3 have raced in the NASCAR Cup Series, so they have experience at driving a NASCAR, thus giving the NASCAR team the perfect driver lineup with the experience they have to be able to run this historic entry at Le Mans. So what are your thoughts on a NASCAR entry heading to Le Mans? I personally am excited to see this car blast down the Mulsanne Straight, and I'm interested to see how it will compare to the other entries. How will this car do at Le Mans this year? I guess all those questions will be answered in due time, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're interested in endurance racing and you want to get updates on the WEC and IMSA, make sure to subscribe to the left. And if you want to see more videos, watch one of the suggested options to the right of your screen. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye for now.